Okay, so we are here today with Alhaji Brahman Abdurrahman Gomda. He's one of the he's the head of communications affairs at the Hajj Pilgrims Affairs Office of Ghana. And Hajj is happening in August. And we're here to talk to him, have interactions with him, to find out from him the preparations so far and what his outfit is doing to ensure that we have a problem-free Hajj. Alhaji, you're welcome.
Thank you very much indeed.
Okay. So Alhaji, tell me maybe a brief background to this year's Hajj, when it's happening, when you're expecting people to make payments and all of that before we come to the core details.
Yeah, we took over from the previous management of Hajj matters in the country a few months ago. We sat down with them and we went through the books. They finally handed over to us. We started by announcing a Hajj package, which goes for 15,000 Ghana cedis or $3,450 per pilgrim, and that is a package inclusive of accommodation and transport in Saudi Arabia. Those who are conversant with Hajj matters will tell you that besides the fare, you have other services to pay for, and these are determined by the authorities in Saudi Arabia. This year, for instance, haven't determined these things already. The chairman got information from the authorities over there that some of the costs have appreciated, as a result of which the budgets had to be altered somewhat. So currently, yes, 15,000 Ghana cedis or $3,450, inclusive of 2 meals in Medina, a meal in Jeddah, and accommodation at the various points. In fact, on Mount Arafat, which is the climax of the Hajj activities, for the first time, the Saudi authorities have decided that no pilgrim should be given the option of living in an air-conditioned room or not. Everybody should be accommodated in air-conditioned facilities, because the temperature over there gets so high, and they wouldn't want to have health challenges regarding their guests who come for the Hajj.
Oh, interesting. But now let's talk about some of the challenges that you encountered last year during the preparations, for Hajj. One issue that came up that was in the news was how some people who went for the Hajj were actually deported, purportedly for not going there with guardians.
Yeah, well, that is a challenge we inherited, because we didn't manage the Hajj last year. We've just taken over. Yes, some persons were deported by the Saudi authorities because they didn't meet the criteria for the performance of the Hajj. It was found out that they were either minors, or the immigration authorities there, in their own wisdom, thought persons who, after the Hajj, would want to stay back as illegal immigrants, which they don't countenance at all.
So what is your outfit doing this year to forestall, that situation of people, Hajj pilgrims, being deported to Ghana and some of them raising issues and all of that?
We've held a number of meetings with the Hajj agents, who are the main contacts for prospective pilgrims. Indeed, these persons who were deported by the Saudi authorities came through these Hajj agents. And so it presupposes that a meeting with them would be the best way to handle this challenge, to obviate a recurrence, which we have done. We have exhausted everything possible to ensure that it doesn't recur. So we are convinced that this time around we wouldn't have such a challenge, because we sat down with them, discussed it, and made them to understand the implications of this on the image of the country and Hajj management. And they have understood it very well, to the best of our knowledge, and there wouldn't be any recurrence, we can assure our publics.
Okay. Another thing that you also want to look at to ensure that it doesn't recur was the situation where a lot of people had to camp at the pitch camp at the Hajj village. Some of them, we understand about 400 of them, a little over 400 of them could not even make it to Mecca. And as it stands right now, they still have not, their monies, the monies that they paid to the various Hajj agents have not been refunded to them. Can you throw more light on that for us?
Yeah, it's one of the problems. In fact, the most prominent challenge we inherited when we took over is the issue of the 411 prospective pilgrims who even though paid but couldn't be airlifted. Arrangements are on now to ensure that they are airlifted, and that adds to the headache we are encountering at the moment. Sheikh Isikwe is doing all he can to ensure that these persons are airlifted, and the good news is that he says, Inshallah, by God's grace, they would all be airlifted. And we have a very important IT department now under one Dr. Sani Abdullahi, whose main headache now is to ensure that those problems which occur regarding people coming to pitch camp there for days on end, not knowing when to leave, would all be addressed. He's going to use modern softwares and his mastery of the game to ensure that these things don't recur.
So for the 411 who couldn't make it to Mecca, are they raising concerns? Are they calling for a refund of their monies?
Yeah, they have they have sent a petition to the president, and naturally this petition would come back to the bosom of we, the hard managers. As a result of which, the chairman, Sheikh Isikwe, called a meeting with our major publics, the agents, with a view to finding out what really happened. We sat down with them. They explained that, look, these people, yes, paid, but they couldn't be airlifted. We discovered that a number of factors accounted for this. Late payments and government-sponsored or party-sponsored persons who at the end didn't even pay, being brought at the 11th hour, and these persons really making it in place of those who paid earlier. So these are some of the challenges we are addressing now. By the grace of God, we won't experience a recurrence.
So can you assure those who couldn't make it but made payment, can you assure them that they'll be getting their monies anytime soon? You mentioned that they've petitioned the office of the president. Can you assure that they will get their monies anytime soon?
Well, their main concern now is not about refund, but being given priority when the flight schedules are out. They want to be given priority to go before others who are just paying. So our problem now is to get them airlifted, because that is what they want. It isn't about refund, but being given priority to be airlifted and to really go and perform the Hajj, which by the grace of God, we are on course to ensuring.
Okay. I want to know this. Does the Hajj Board have any control over these agents, or they are, autonomous?
Well, they have their association, but yes, they are autonomous. But since their operations come under the government appointed board or managers, in as much as that is concerned, their autonomy is restricted. So we determine what to do. We tell them, look, this is the package. Even though for good, as I put it, quote unquote, neighborliness, we here and there sit down with them to discuss, to ensure a smooth operation, which we have found out to be the best way to ensure that some of these problems which recur every year don't occur. So periodically we meet with them. So far we've met, I think, if I'm not wrong, about thrice or so, and we intend to make that an important feature of our operations.
Well, I'm asking because last year during the Hajj, there were accusations of cronyism. Some people saying that others have been given priority ahead of them because they were affiliated to one party or the other. Yeah. So I'm asking, how can we, forestall this time around so that these accusations will not, come up this year?
Yeah, like I said earlier, ours is a new management. We have rolled out a number of measures to ensure that these challenges which occurred previously don't recur. In fact, that is what will stand us apart from the others. We have learned from the errors they encountered with a view to coming up with something cleaner, something devoid of those challenges they encountered.
What about security and then sanitation at the sanitary conditions? I must say at the Hajj village. Last year I visited the Hajj village, and some issues raised by some of the pilgrims were that the sanitary conditions there were not the best. In fact, the lavatory, the washrooms, and all of that, they raised serious concerns about that. I'm sure that's come to your attention also.
Well, obviously, I mean, interestingly too, the chairman organized a meeting, and then we discussed some of these issues. In fact, a committee has been set up to manage the issue of sanitation and general security at the Hajj village. So it's one of the issues which is receiving attention.
Was it non-existent in the past?
I wouldn't know. It was a different management, but then I don't know really. I cannot address it because I wasn't part of it. But we have realized, based on the experiences of others, that look, we have to take up this issue since we have so many people converging on the point. There is a need to be extra careful about issues of hygiene and sanitation, which we have taken up by the creation of a committee, a subcommittee to handle. And the medical head too, Dr. Zakaria Seidu, I remember said something which is revealing, that he's going to ensure that through education, prospective pilgrims appreciate the importance of hand washing, because according to him, research has showed that 40% of diseases encountered by people, infections, can be managed if people respect the practice of hand washing. So he's going to make it a point to educate prospective pilgrims about constantly washing their hands. Yeah.
So for prospective pilgrims, Hajj is in August. What is going to happen from now to August is, if anybody wants to embark on this holy pilgrimage, is it too late for them to get registered? What process will they have to go through? Can you talk us through that?
Well, this is the time to do it. I mean, it's not too late. We have started. We announced the package, and from the day we announced the package, payment automatically commenced. People are paying through two channels. One, through accredited Hajj agents. Through accredited Hajj agents.
So how do you know they are accredited?
In fact, we have their names. We have a list of them, and in the various Islamic communities across the country, people know them. I wouldn't want to advertise for any of them, but they are there. I mean, I nearly committed a blunder by mentioning one or two, which is not normal. Yeah, they are there. People know them. And yes, we have their list. And those who want to pay directly to the board can do so by going to the Unibank, which has a special account and a special number and a special pay-in slip. After paying, they are given receipts which can then be brought to the Hajj village, where there are officials now currently managing this issue, receiving passports and such receipts with a view to further processing them for the eventual takeoff.
Now, this may be a bit, remote from the whole Hajj pilgrimage conversation that we are having, but surely it does have some, connection in a way. The appreciation of, the CDS against, the dollar. Does it affect, Hajj in any way? Does it affect patronage in any way if the CD depreciates? Does it affect it in any way?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, if the CD does well, it will help us. We pray that the CD does well. But if the CD doesn't do well, it affects the budget, because you cannot overnight decide to increase the cost of the package as a result of that. So if the CD, as it's doing now, is doing favorably, it's to our advantage, because then we would be able to undertake the various assignments required of us without sweat. Currently, we have had a number of calls, people asking whether, as a result of the positive performance of the CD, we are going to do something about the package. And my answer to them is no. We pray that it improves, and then we will do better than we even intend to do.
In wrapping up this conversation, I want you to tell us the significance of this holy pilgrimage. There are some who really do not get it. What really is the significance of Hajj?
Well, Hajj is one of the 5 canons or 5 pillars of Islam. It is necessary, it is important that every Muslim performs it at least once in their lifetimes. Previously, people used to do it on foot. About a year's journey, some went and they didn't even return. They went by road through northern Nigeria, Kano, up there to the Red Sea, cross and back. And then there was this means of transport called Tarzan Company, until eventually modernity came. People started going by sea, and then eventually now airlifting. Every Muslim dreams of one day performing it in their lifetime. You would even realize, if you did some West African history, Mansa Musa performed the Hajj, and we are told that he went to so much gold that he attracted the attention of so many people, even in those days. So the Hajj is a critical pillar of Islam. That is why every Muslim wants to do it. It's one of the 5 pillars.
I know a lot of Muslims, watch Joy News. This morning, I'm sure they are watching AM show. What do you have to tell, any prospective pilgrim out there? Any message for them?
Well, the message is that we are doing our best. We have rolled out a number of measures to ensure that those challenges, those nagging challenges which bedevil Hajj operations every year, do not come again. Inshallah, we shall have a smooth Hajj. The President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, when we were sworn into office, tasked us to ensure that Ghanaian pilgrims perform the Hajj without the usual stress they go through every year.
Okay. So you just heard it right for yourself. Inshallah, we shall have a smooth Hajj, and these are the words of Alhaji Abdurrahman Gomda. He's the head of the communications unit of the Hajj Pilgrims Affairs, and they are part of the Hajj Board, actually running us through preparations for this year's Hajj that's happening in August. And he's been telling us, if you're prospective, if you're prospective Hajj pilgrim, this is the time to start, making preparations for the holy pilgrimage.